What's crack-a-lackin', fellow home dogs? It's your boy Channel Pup, and in today's video we're going to be doing a deep dive into the Spider-Man PS5 Remaster, talking about the upgraded graphics, the new suits and what the second suit might be, as well as the fan backlash to the change of Peter Parker's motion capture actor. So let's get started. With me today is fan of all things Spider-Man from Twitter. Some of you will know him. JP Money 1999. Would you like to introduce yourself, buddy?
Hey everybody. It's nice to be on Pup's channel. Officially, technically, I have been on his channel before. On one of his Amazing Spider-Man reviews, you'll see my face and my Twitter name JP Money on there. I grew up with Spider-Man through my first introduction was the 90s show, and then obviously, like a lot of people, the Raimi movies is what really made me enjoy the character, and then I've enjoyed the Amazing Spider-Man movies. I've enjoyed the MCU movies. In terms of his movie side, I can't say I hate or dislike any of their movies. I'll admit, if I could get rid of one movie, it would be The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I don't hate it, but it's just, the more I watch it, the less I enjoy it. On his cartoon side, really love Spectacular, really love the 90s show, really love the new animated series. Its animation may not hold up as well, but I still enjoy the story and writing, and I love Spider-Man Unlimited. So I just enjoy Spider-Man as a whole, even the stuff that I don't like. I don't bash people who do. I don't hate on people who do like it. It's just not for me, and I understand that they like more stuff in it that I don't. So, and that's totally fine. You know, Spider-Man is meant for everyone, not just for one particular group of people.
Oh, for sure. And I think it would definitely be good if more people kind of had this mindset. And it's kind of why I wanted you on this podcast here, is because it was talking to you and kind of hearing your perspective that kind of demilitarized me as far as a Spider-Man fan goes, if you get me, where I used to be like, Amazing Spider-Man, grr, bad. And now I'm like, I've kind of developed a new respect for the films from kind of understanding your perspective and viewing them with that in mind, whereas before it was just like, I love every Spider-Man except for that one. So, and I'm happier for it, to be honest. Like, I'm much happier to be able to say I can find some enjoyment in every Spider-Man film, and even as of late, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 to a degree. So, we're gonna go straight into this controversial topic, the Spider-Man PS5 Remaster. So this is basically, it's coming with the Spider-Man Miles Morales game, as we know, which is coming in November, which, I think November anyway. Very quick turnaround from announcement to release. Like, I haven't seen anything like that before. Feels like it hasn't been any time at all. And yeah, so what are your thoughts on kind of the remaster so far?
In terms of the graphics and the frames per second, not that big of a difference, at least to me. When I saw the gameplay trailer, it looked nice. It looked, in terms of what I saw, the graphics looked about the same. I know there was a graphics comparison to it, and I don't know if it's that big of a difference aside from maybe the lighting of the city and stuff like that. The frames per second, once again, don't know if it's that big of a difference, but maybe it's one of those things where once you play it, you feel the difference. Like, if you play the PS5 version, then go back to the PS4 version, you'll feel the difference in terms of the frames per second. So that's what I'm assuming that it's gonna be like, because I don't see that much of a difference as of right now in terms of that aspect, at least to me.
For sure. I mean, I think that's very much going to be the case, because there's been a lot of games where, I remember when the PS4 was in the pipeline, and we were seeing footage from other games and stuff, and Arkham Knight was the reason I was going to buy the PS4. And I was kind of thinking, there's not that much of a jump up, though, from the Xbox 360 to the PlayStation 4. That was how I did it, anyway. But then when I played the game, suddenly it clicks. Like, you're seeing it on a TV. YouTube footage tends to be kind of compressed as well, so you do miss out on some of the detail. So, like, I saw in the screenshots for the remaster, it looks fantastic. Like, there's reflections all over the windows and the cars and stuff. Spider-Man's looking more illuminated than he did before. In the gameplay, however, it looked more or less the same, with obviously the 60 frames per second and more kind of highlights on Spider-Man's costume. But overall, it looked fine. It looked good. It's not a huge jump up from before. It's a marginal one. And I've seen some people saying, why do they need to remaster a game that released 2 years ago? And I can kind of understand the perspective. You're not going to be getting the most out of the hardware comparison this way, but I think it's a case of it doesn't cost that much extra on top of the main game. I think it's like, what, $20 extra for the Ultimate Edition of Miles Morales, and it includes this. And that's not a bad little expansion. It's not at all. But I think, like, what would do it for me, what I think would do it for me, and like being the kind of deal maker for purchasing the game, if I were going to, it would be the additional suits and bonuses that are added onto the game. Because we do know that there's 2 additional suits, one of which has been revealed to be the Amazing Spider-Man 1 suit. And obviously, Amazing Spider-Man means quite a lot to you. So how do you kind of feel about, having that sort of side of your inner Spidey fan represented at last?
Well, I always knew that Insomniac, at the very least, respected the Amazing Spider-Man movies, because they do reference the movies with one of the loading screen poses, with they reference the clock tower on one of the buildings. The final battle itself feels like an Amazing Spider-Man 1 reference, with fighting the final boss on top of Oscorp Tower. So I always knew they respected the movies, but I just thought maybe by rights issues or something they couldn't add it. So once I saw that image, I was really excited, because people was always speculating that, maybe they're gonna add it since they use the term amazing suits. I was somewhat excited, but somewhat skeptical, because amazing is just another word used for Spider-Man.
Yes.
Because what if they said we're adding 3 spectacular suits? Would you assume they're gonna add a spectacular Spider-Man costume? You know what I mean?
It's another one of those things where it's like, there's been an Amazing Spider-Man prior to the Amazing Spider-Man films. It could have been like, oh, you're getting the Amazing Fantasy 15 suit or something, which I would love to see, but like... So, what do you think the other suit is going to be?
If I had to make any speculations, or at least what suits I would like to see, I would like to see maybe the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit and the Sensational Spider-Man suit, just to complete the clone saga that they have, since they already have, the hoodie Scarlet Spider suit and the Scarlet Spider 2 suit. It'd be nice to have the Sensational Spider-Man suit to kind of like fill up that clone that clone saga suit collection.
Yeah, I think it would be a safe bet to say I think it's going to be the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit. It's one of those things where part of me kind of wondered maybe it's not, because, the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit is another classic Spider-Man suit, and there's an abundance of those in the game already. But at the same time, if you're going to do all the movie suits, you might as well do all of the movie suits, I suppose. So I think it would make sense, because, they've got the Homecoming and the Far From Home in there, as well as Night Monkey, as well as the hoodie suit. It would make sense for them to have the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit, given that it was quite a notable one. If you really want to go complete with it, I would love to see like the human spider suit from Spider-Man 2002, or the 2002 version of the Raimi suit, but I would never expect that, because it's such a trivial difference between that and the Raimi suit we already have.
Yeah, I'd rather see one of those suits over, the Vigilante suit, because not everybody, but a lot of people are assuming that they're going to add all the 3 Amazing Spider-Man movie suits, and I'm like, I understand the first and the second one. The Vigilante suit, while I don't hate it or anything, I think it's an alright suit. It's just a boring suit, in my opinion, to just add on there. It's just Spider-Man wearing a mask over, just civilian clothes. It's basically like the ESU suit, but a little bit better, because at least the clothes Peter's wearing, in my opinion, look a little bit cooler, more sleeker. But
for sure.
Yeah, but I just don't.
I would definitely rather have the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit than the vigilante suit for definite, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's a more notable outfit, that vigilante suit was... I mean, I say it was just for one scene, but I mean, if they were going to complete the whole set and they were going to add the human spider as well, fuck it, why not? Just stick the vigilante suit in there.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, to complete the collection, obviously, yeah, I 100% agree with you, but if it was like, we can only add one more movie suit, it's the only movie suit we can add, I would either be like, either human spider or the 2002 suit. I know they're not going to add in the black Raimi suit because they're saving all that symbiote stuff, for the sequel.
They're saving that for the for definite. I mean, I would say any other suit I would like to see. I guess the Neversoft suit, where it's kind of PS1 looking, could be quite fun, but I think there's a rights problem with that. And the Amazing Fantasy 15 suit, maybe a take on that. Have him in red and black, blue back spider. That could be pretty sweet, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So then there's obviously the most controversial part of this. The thing that has everyone a bit upset is the change of Peter Parker's face model from John Bubniak to, was it Ben, what was his second name? Ben Jordan.
Yeah.
It was Ben Jordan. So yeah, they've clearly changed Peter Parker's face to a brand new model. How do you feel about that, for starters?
When I first saw the new face model, I wouldn't say I was like appalled or angered or anything like that. I was more so just like, oh, they changed it, huh? All right then. Like it was more just like, okay then. Like, it didn't. I was more so like, when I first saw it, I wasn't a fan of it. But the more I see it, the more I just get used to it. Now, the original Spider-Man PS4 face model person, that will always be like my personal favorite choice of that. Because that's just who I'm always gonna see as that version of Spider-Man. It's like if they changed Tom Holland to a different actor. Like, you can eventually get used to that new actor, but you're always gonna see Tom Holland as MCU Spidey. But I do hope that Ben does a fantastic job. He did seem to fit fine the more I got used to him in that little cutscene. So I'm not against this new face. I mean, Insomniac did say that they want to pick a face that fits more with Yuri Lowenthal's voice. So I understand it. I'm not super like upset by it or anything, but I do understand why people are upset. It's like I don't understand. It's just I myself am not really upset or super happy about it. I'm just neutral.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I mean, my reaction was, well, first things first, my buddy Michael sent me the screenshot, and I saw his caption before I saw the picture. He said, I'm a little disappointed in how much they've changed Peter Parker's face. So I opened it up, I was like, okay, what's it done? And I looked at it, I was like, yeah, no, that's definitely different, isn't it? That's definitely a different face they've given him there. And I'm going to say this, the reveal photo they chose did not do them any favors, because the reveal photo they chose is lit in a way that makes him look like Tom Holland. But when you see it in motion and in the video, he doesn't look as young. He looks a bit more like the guy that plays Nightwing from Titans, I find. But he looks like a 26-year-old. He looks fine. I didn't have a problem with the face they'd chosen at all. I thought the face looked fine. It looks, pretty much how I always imagined Peter Parker to look. But I'm never gonna be saying, oh, it's a great thing that they've changed something that was already established. I don't think that's ever a great move. But I kind of, at the end of the day, you go with the flow, don't you? And I think it's one of those things that people that are upset about it now won't be once they've actually played the game. It's one of those things where it's going to grow on people. There's people that are worried that his face won't express the same as John Bubniak's did at the end of Spider-Man PS4, where it's that big emotional moment where Aunt May dies and the facial animations are superb. Like, he looks incredibly expressive. People are worried that it's not going to look the same, and the reality is it's probably not going to look the same, but it'll probably be just as good in its own very unique way, I think. I'm looking forward to seeing it. It's a new performance. My main concern is that I feel like it might be a case of they've done John Bubniak dirty. Like, it's a shame that he's, not coming back for it. I feel kind of for him. But I mean, things that people don't seem to realize is generally in movies and in games and in anything, it's par the course. There is a staff changeover, whether it's people in front of the camera, the people you see on screen, or people behind it. More often than not, people behind it. You're like Spider-Man Homecoming. The writers didn't do anything wrong. They did a good job. They changed the writers in the next one. Cinematographer, like that, changed it in the next one. Like, there's always a turnover when it comes to these things. But I think the thing is, Insomniac themselves were most definitely expecting some backlash towards this. Most definitely. This was a calculated thing. They knew what they were doing, which kind of, it really nullifies kind of the breadth of people trying to take action, going to change.org. I've seen people saying, what if there was an option? But the thing is, if there was an option, people wouldn't go for the change. Even if the change is even better, they wouldn't go for it because they know the old one. They're clearly doing this for a reason. They wouldn't do it without one. The reason they've given, I don't know how much of it I understand, because they've basically said it's not so much to match Yuri Lowenthal's voice, but basically, when Yuri Lowenthal did that performance, there was a motion capture side of it. They had those motion capture dots on his face and a suit. And they had John Bubniak then do the sort of facial expressions to go with that. And the whole thing is that the new fella, his bone structure allegedly matches Yuri Lowenthal's movements a bit better, so it means they can get more out of the expressions. The bit where I kind of am not sure how much credence to give that is because we've seen motion capture dragons in movies, and Ultron was motion capture, and so is Thanos, and like, it's never been a concern with bone structure there. It's animation, there's always tweaking, but I don't know. I get the feeling that there's a number of different things it could be, and one of them, I think, could be corporate synergy, where maybe Ben Jordan is the face model they've gotten for the Avengers game, and maybe Sony have stepped in and said, alright, Spider-Man is exclusive to the PlayStation, including on the Avengers game, might as well synergize it and have it be the same Spider-Man. Which kind of opens up the question, what if it is the same Peter Parker in a different costume in the Avengers game? That's something I'm kind of wondering.
Well, now, obviously, I know some people say game companies, will lie and stuff like that. But I do remember that Crystal Dynamics or whoever's in charge of the Avengers game said that they are it's gonna be their own version of Spider-Man. It's not gonna be from the PS4 game, because a lot of us were assuming that since he's a PlayStation exclusive character, we all assume he's gonna be from the PS4 game. But no, they said that they said that they are they're basically making their own version of Spider-Man, basically, which I respect that, and I understand that, there's nothing wrong with wanting to make your own version of Spider-Man, but I do understand why some people will think that, oh, he must be from the PS4 game. So, it's one of those things
my theory is that maybe it's a last minute change. Maybe it's one of those things where Sony saw, I'm presuming Sony is in charge of all this. Maybe they saw what they did for the Avengers game, like, well, maybe we can make the PS4 Spider-Man a bit more like that for the sake of corporate synergy, basically, for the sake of having more of a brand identity for that Spider-Man. I don't know. I don't know anything about what's going on behind the scenes. But, I do wonder if maybe they're pushing it in that direction, so maybe it's not the same Spider-Man, but maybe there's more similarities between the two. I don't know.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But I think the truth is, as I say, it's a coordinated thing. I think Insomniac knew full well people were gonna be a bit iffy about the new design, which is probably why they got it out now, which is probably why they got it out of the system, so people have their time to grieve, to grieve the Peter Parker they knew, and move on. But I think the truth is, for people sending them death threats is ridiculous. My God, it's a face. I don't want to undermine the performance, because I know that there's a motion capture performance that goes with that comes from the actor, but it's still people are kind of losing track of the fact that this is still one of the greatest superhero games ever made. We've played Spider-Man PS4, and anyone that's played this game can tell you, it is a fantastic body of work. It's a great game. Probably has. I've seen people saying, "Oh yeah, this is a sign they don't care about the fans. They've betrayed the fans. They're going around thinking they can do what they want." But it's the thing is, you can't say they don't care about the fans, because just look at the game. Just look at Spider-Man PS4. What we're getting on Spider-Man PS5 is the exact same, but with the Amazing Spider-Man suit, and with a different motion capture model for Peter Parker, for whatever reason. I don't know what reason it is, but there's going to be a reason for it. They're not just going to go, yeah, fuck off, John Bubniak. We don't need you anymore. We want Peter to look completely different in the next one. And then in a third game, we're going to get another one.
Oh, yeah.
They're not going to do that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. 100% agree with that. I understand that a lot of people do feel personally connected to the face of, PS4 Spider-Man, and including myself. I do feel mostly connected with that version. However, I myself can accept that this is what Peter Parker is going to look like, and I'm not going to send Insomniac death threats because, it's just childish. At the end of the day, what you guys are doing, not all of you, but what some of you are doing is childish. Sending them death threats? Why? These are people. They are trying to make an honest living doing what they love to do. And yet, you all want to send death threats because they changed the face of all because they basically changed the face of Peter Parker. Are you kidding me? So you're fine with all these actors, all these great actors portraying Spider-Man on the big screen, yet when they change the face of PS4 Peter, that's when it's too far. I get you could say the argument that each version is meant to be a different adaptation, but
when you think about that, that's even more, like, because I think it would be worse if they said we're rebooting Spider-Man PS4 with a brand new actor, brand new voice actor, brand new world. That would be worse for me. Like, I like the one we've got. If they're just changing a face, we still got Yuri Lowenthal doing the voice. We've still got this story that they've set up. If anything, it's better. I think the main thing is just that we're all very confused as to why they did it. But I think in time, we'll understand.
Yeah.
For definite.
Yeah, and I agree. I feel that in time, eventually, like I said, it's just gonna take some time to get used to. It's basically just like kind of Spider-Man movies themselves. Once Spider-Man, once the Tobey movies ended and moved on to the Amazing Spider-Man movies, a lot of people were against Garfield, saying, "Oh no, it's terrible. They're garbage and all this stuff."
Yeah, he's not my Spider-Man. I remember when it was announced that Andrew Garfield wouldn't be playing Spider-Man anymore. The hashtag Support Andrew was trending.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And now, nowadays people are like, "Oh man, I really enjoyed the Amazing Spider-Man 1. I even like 2. He deserved better." And with Tom Holland, eventually, he's going to get replaced by somebody, and people are not going to not everybody, but some people are not going to like this new reboot version. So it's just one of those things that once people just get used to it, they'll accept it and find a lot more good than bad, honestly.
Happens every time. I mean, yeah, for definite. I mean, I would say what everyone just needs to do going forward is if you want to show support to John Bubniak, go to his Twitter and just say thank you. Just thank him for his work. And then we move on. We'll just accept the change. I've seen people saying, you're a shill. You've lost your edge. You just slurp down everything they give you. You're just shilling out for Spider-Man PS4. And it's like, if I'm shilling out for Spider-Man PS4, I'm shilling out for something good, because that game is damn good. I love that game. Yep. And it's like, a face is not going to change that. Yep. They could change everybody's face in that game, and it would still be great.
Yep. I mean, for me personally, while obviously a face is one of the important aspects, especially someone like Peter Parker, it's also his character. Like, if he's written trash, but if he's written like the Amazing Spider-Man 2 bad, but looks really good, that doesn't matter, because it's like, okay, you look like Peter Parker, but you're not acting like him. Your writing isn't good. So, and obviously the opposite, you could say the opposite will have a somewhat similar effect. If you don't look like Peter Parker, but you're written well, you like people, not a lot of people will like you, but at the very least you'll have a more positive outlook. Like if we rated you on a scale of like a grading scale, like A to B, like A to F, then if you are written well but don't like Peter Parker, you'll at least get like a C or a B. But if you look like Peter but written trash, you're gonna get like a D because looks can only get you so far. So, like,
well, you know something. I did a poll. I did a poll on my YouTube community feed, and basically, I said, what would you rather have? Would you rather have the Amazing Spider-Man 2 game with the Spider-Man Peter Parker that you know from Spider-Man PS4, or would you rather have the remaster with the new face? Only 15% of people went for the Amazing Spider-Man 2 with the old Peter Parker, which I was pleased to see. It just goes to show it's a very vocal minority.
Oh yeah. I saw it too, and I voted for the PS5 remaster. And I remember somebody.
Definitely, you're sane. Yeah. You're sane. That's why.
Yeah, I remember somebody saying like, "Oh, like I think they try to say like both are garbage, like both are going to be garbage or something." And I just replied with the smart comment like, I didn't know Spider-Man PS4 was garbage all of a sudden, because they're basically
that's
saying
the thing.
Because if you're gonna call Spider-Man PS5 garbage, then that means Spider-Man PS4 is garbage. And I have seen this, and don't get me wrong, I've seen this tweet where somebody was basically explaining why Peter Parker's face change is not that it is important, because for people like me, I'm like, well, I'm gonna be, there are some people who are gonna skip the cutscenes because they already know how the story is gonna play out, and they just want to, swing around the city and upgrade the Spider as much as they can. And you don't see Peter Parker, like you don't see his actual face as much as you do as Spider-Man. And that is true, that is a fair point. But the thing is, why it's so important for some people is because Peter Parker is a part of Spider-Man. You do still see a lot of cutscenes with them. You see a lot of cutscenes with Peter, and seeing this new face can make you feel off a little bit. It's why people try to compare it to like the Arkham games, well, Bruce Wayne didn't look that well in the Arkham games, so why is it a problem here? Because Bruce Wayne isn't as important as Peter Parker, as he is in those games, which
I guess one thing though is with the Arkham series, you still see Bruce Wayne's face under that mask, whereas with Spider-Man, he is completely masked up. But I do get where you're coming from. Like, there is that whole Peter Parker angle of the game, but I don't think this face is going to change anything. Like, it's just going to change what he looks like, but, like, it's not even bad. I'm sorry. There's people saying, oh, it looks so ugly, it looks so technically bad. It's like, I'm sorry, it doesn't. Like, by no standard does it look bad.
Yeah.
It's just people aren't used to it. That's all it is.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, I agree. Like I said, at first, I didn't hate it. I was just like, ooh, it was that, ooh, I'm not sure if I'm a fan of this. But the more I saw it, because so many people kept talking about it, showing screenshots of it, I just got used to it. And I'm just like, all right, I don't love it, but I'm like, all right, I'm used to it, right? I'm used to it by now. So once I start that game up and see him like putting on the suit and everything, I'm just like, I already know what it's gonna look like, and I'm just gonna have a good old time.
For sure. All right, I think that about wraps things up.
Whew. All right then. Well, thanks again, Pup, for having me on your channel, officially in a podcast. And guys, if you guys are new here, please subscribe to Pup. He makes great content. He's just a really nice guy to interact with, and please give him a chance.
Kind.
And follow him on Twitter, and if you're an Amazing Spider-Man fan, please just remember that he does respect you and he does respect the movies. It's just not his cup of tea, so just give him a chance. You'll really enjoy his content on here, I promise.
They're growing on me anyway as well. Like, I'm growing more and more fond of them, I must admit. And of course, do follow JP Money 1999 on Twitter. He posts really nice Spider-Man edits as well, and really great stuff. And he's just very positive, which is something that I think everybody needs.
Well, thank you. Well, thank you very much, Pup. That means a lot to me, man.
Well, I don't even think I need to do the outro where I tell people to subscribe, because you've already done that for me. So until the next time, have a great day, everybody.
See you later, guys.